One nation, one election, is it on or not? Shortest answer, not so soon. There are steps being taken in this direction, but the ball is rolling. It might reach the mark or it might not make it. There are challenges to its viability, but the fact is that the conversation has begun on simultaneous elections in India. This is Quick Take, your quick guide. I am Smita Prakash. On August 31st, Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi announced that a special session of Parliament has been called from 18th to the 22nd of September, having 5 sittings. A day later, the centre constituted a committee headed by former President Ram Nath Kovind to explore the possibility of One Nation, One Election, ONOE. As expected, the BJP and the opposition crossed swords over the ONOE proposal. The concept of One Nation, One Election in India aims to synchronize elections for the Lok Sabha, the lower house of Indian Parliament, and all assemblies of the states. The idea is to hold these elections simultaneously, either on a single day or within a specific time frame. However, in a country with 28 states and 8 union territories, the Election Commission has always stared at challenges to ensure citizens of the country exercise their right to franchise. It's not a new concept, having taken place 4 times in the 1950s and 60s, but India had fewer states and a smaller population that could vote. According to a report by the Centre for Media Studies, around 55,000 crore rupees or $8 billion was spent during the Lok Sabha elections of 2019. There have been several state elections after that, so almost an equivalent amount spent in the past 4 years. However, One Nation, One Election would need a constitutional amendment, and then it would need to be taken to the state assemblies. What is this One Nation, One Election? Is it viable in a country which has the largest voting population in the world? Is it a necessity as claimed by the proponents, or will this impact the federal structure of the country? Prime Minister Modi has consistently advocated the concept of simultaneous elections since coming to power in 2014.
One nation, one election सिर्फ एक चर्चा का विषय नहीं है, बल्कि ये भारत की जरूरत है.
The argument of the BJP and the others who support ONOE is that simultaneous polls will save time and money, ensure focus on development and also a higher voter turnout.
संविधान निर्माताओं ने वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का प्रावधान पहले से ही कानून में और संविधान में रखा था, और इसीलिए 1952 में, 1957 में, 1962 में, 1967 में वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की तर्ज पर विधानसभा और लोकसभा चुनाव एक साथ हुए. 2015 में सरकार ने इलेक्शन कमीशन से पूछा कि क्या वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन फिर से करना संभव है, तो इलेक्शन कमीशन ने भारत सरकार को बताया कि बिल्कुल संभव है और हम करा सकते हैं अगर संविधान में संशोधन हो जाए, लोक प्रतिनिधित्व अधिनियम 1951 में संशोधन हो जाए, और हमें ईवीएम वीवीपैट जो पर्याप्त नहीं है उनकी मैन्युफैक्चर और खरीदने के लिए पैसा हो जाए, और पर्याप्त संख्या में पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स मिल जाए.
Currently, 4 states, Sikkim, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and Arunachal Pradesh go to poll simultaneously with the Lok Sabha elections because the term of these assemblies, if they complete their full term that is, usually conclude close to the time when the term of the Lok Sabha concludes. But there are other states whose term also end about 6 months or so before the general elections, though the dates for the 2024 elections haven't been announced. If One Nation, One Election does come into effect, it could mean the elections for the Lok Sabha, state assemblies and rural governing bodies like panchayats across India will be held simultaneously, with voting taking place at the same time. Will this benefit the country and the voters?
सब्जेक्टिव इम्प्रेशन ये आता है कि लगातार इलेक्शन चलते रहने से नेता भी इलेक्शन में भिड़ जाते हैं, जनता के मुद्दों से उनका ध्यान भटक जाता है, प्रशासन भी 4-5 महीने के लिए ढीला पड़ जाता है. तो हो सकता है कि वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन होने से पूरे 5 साल राजनेता और प्रशासन दोनों फोकस तरीके से जनता के मुद्दों पर काम करें और जनता का ज्यादा से ज्यादा भला कर पाएं.
The 8-member committee is tasked with examining and recommending necessary amendments to the Constitution, especially Representation of the People's Act 1950 and the Representation of the People's Act 1951. If the panel recommends ONOE to come into effect, then amendments to the Constitution might also require ratification by the states. Former President Ramnath Kovind-led committee will also have to chalk out possible solutions in a scenario of simultaneous elections emerging out of a hung house, adoption of no confidence motion, or defection or any such event. And then the enormity of the task, the logistics, the manpower required, including how many EVMs, which are electronic voting machines, VVPATs, which is voter verifiable paper audit trail, for holding such simultaneous elections, the modalities of using a single electoral roll, and electoral identity cards for identification of voters. All eyes are on the upcoming special session of Parliament on September 18th. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi has said that the committee report would be discussed in Parliament. Perhaps the discussion will paint a clearer picture on the proposal's roadmap. Till then, ONOE is expected to continue to hit the headlines.